about everything that's great, like movies, TV, superheroes. It's superhero.
Oh, hello everyone, and welcome to Superhero Slate, the show where we run down the latest superhero entertainment news.
We love TV, movies, and superheroes, so let's talk it all out.
My name is Chris.
And my name is Mike.
And this week, we're reviewing Alien Earth, in case anyone hasn't seen that show. That wrapped up on FX, last week, I think a week ago. I think I'm
Chris
a week
is
behind.
Caught up.
Yeah, it is. And in my, as Mike will know, my drunken stupor just now, I also cut off the intro, so I'm going to have to fix that in post. Did you know the Russo brothers are rustling our jimmies, Mike, on Instagram? Is that a phrase people still use? Is that a phrase?
I think so.
Okay.
Well, we're using it, and we're people.
Yeah, that's right. They're Russo and our jimmies. I'll show myself out. The Simpsons are returning to theaters in a few years, and more.
Yeah, we got a different energy to today's podcast. We're recording in the middle of the weekend on a Saturday.
That's right.
Chris is still in a weekend party mode. Took a shot of something that I don't know what it was.
It's banana pudding mixed drink. It's 15%, folks. I just took it right before we got on the mic.
The answer still doesn't even tell me what I need to know.
No.
But so he's already half in the bag here.
Right.
I just got back from a pumpkin patch up in the hills in hill country, and we're here to talk about what we truly love, which is anything that's on a screen.
Right.
We're screen boys.
It's true, and you've queued me up for our first thing I want to talk about that I did. Marvel Cosmic Invasion, the 2D side-scrolling fighter by the people who made Shredder's Revenge, is coming out later this year. And to celebrate that, I guess, they've put a demo up on Steam for PC players. And using that handy Steam Deck that comes out twice a year, Mike, because you never know when you're going to need it, I was able to play through that demo, which is the first level, essentially, is the vibe I get from it. There's not a lot of narrative context. You're just dropped in, you're fighting bugs. But it has, I would say, it's like seven or nine characters to choose from. And this is a game I'm going to happily play the shit out of when it comes out this fall. Because what I didn't know about this game is, number one, you choose two characters to play as, and you can swap between them. Kind of like how you have, like, in Marvel v. Capcom, you have, like, 3 to choose from. So you can actually do team-up moves with your other character as, like, a special ability, which is awesome. They also have regular attacks, strong attacks, charge attacks, block attacks, parry attacks. Most people can swing, fly, or double jump, and they all have some sort of projectile ability. Like Spider-Man's webs, Nova has a laser blast. And I've played through this with every character, like, because it's just one level, it's pretty fast to get through. Every character, my favorite character, Mike, hands down, is a surprise character, Captain America. The guy who literally just punches and, literally punches and throws his shield, can block with his shield and deflect projectiles back to oncoming, like, the bugs who are, like, spitting stuff at you. And I absolutely just played the hell out of this dude. I just looked up the characters. Currently there will be 15 characters. In this demo, I get Captain America, Nova, I believe it's Phyla-Vell, who's like their Captain Marvel, Rocket Raccoon, She-Hulk, Spider-Man, Storm, Venom, and Wolverine. I just had a good time, and this thing is also 2 to 4 player. It supports crossplay. Buddy of mine, Patrick, he's coming down next weekend. He's going to actually be in the room while we record, Mike. He's going to listen just to my side of the conversation, which is going to be an interesting thing. Because he's going to be here. He's not going to interrupt anything. And he's probably over there shaking his head that I'm bringing it up. But we're both going to play hopefully on our Steam decks, at least play the demo level, because it's just so fun. Like, do you remember playing side-scroller, like, beat-em-ups as a kid, like the Turtles or the Simpsons and stuff like that? Yeah.
I mean, just the format of side-scrolling in general is extremely fascinating and satisfying, because it's a whole dimension that you don't have to concern yourself with.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm just going from left to right or right to left, depending on what type of world they're building.
Yeah.
And it just frees you up to concentrate on just, like, usually a fun beat-em-up mechanic.
Yeah, and the beat 'em up thing has to feel good, right? You can't be like, oh, I'm getting kicked around or I'm doing too powerful. It feels really fun in this. Like the combos, like until someone hits the ground and disappears, you can actually just keep like comboing them in the air. Like you can, what's that called in like fighting games where it's not combo, but like juggling. You can juggle the enemies for as until they hit the ground, which is super fun. One of the concepts, I haven't got there yet, but one of my favorite thing about fight 'em street games like this, you can always tell when you get to a harder enemy because they change color. It's like the same boss, but like the same body, but a different color. And then everybody has one attack, which it's like a clear all, kind of like a burst or whatever. Venom waves his tentacles around. Wolverine does some slash, stuff like that. So I've had a really good time with this game. Anyone who has Steam, the demo is free. It's the first level. I recommend playing it because I am going to be absolutely thrilled when this game comes out. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say it's that time of year for just games in general, and also 2D. Was it Hollow Knight had like a new sequel or
Silk Song, Hollow Knight Silk Song. Ghost of Yote is out and about, I believe, or it will be out and about, right? Someone showed me a video that Ghost of Yote can go from the PlayStation completely cold start, not running in the background, to in-game within 7 seconds on a PS5, Mike. Yeah. Can you imagine? Like no loading screens, nothing. Just boom, in-game in 7 seconds.
I mean, I have it installed and ready. I was at Target running some errands. We have some company in town this weekend. And I was like, oh, this is the first time I've just casually been wanting to like buy a game. So I picked it up, but I can't play it yet. I've only had time to install it. So
yeah, that's fine.
Maybe by next week's episode, I'll be able to share some thoughts on Yote.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I love to hear it. And the other, what was it? I just had like all the games. Oh, it's Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 for Switch 2. To revisit those. And you can actually use the Switch 2 controllers and mouse as the pointer because remember all the Wii games, you had to have motion controls for those. So
yeah.
I've only played like maybe 10 minutes of Mario Galaxy. I've never played the second one. So I've been telling my wife, I'm like, we should probably buy it. And she's like, well, we already have them for the Wii. I'm like, but do we have them for the Switch 2? Wink, wink.
Exactly.
We need those. Before we wrap up the Marvel Cosmic Invasion, the other characters that will be in the game that are not in the demo are Beta Ray Bill, Black Panther, Cosmic Ghost Rider, Iron Man, Phoenix, and Silver Surfer that we know of. And I don't remember if you played the Turtles game or not, Mike, when it came out a couple years ago, Shredder's Revenge. But that game has continually received DLC in the form of other characters. Usagi Yojimbo, the rabbit samurai. They got the chameleons from the Turtles thing and other stuff. So it's been a pretty good time. I'm very excited for Cosmic Invasion. I'm very excited for the winter game lineup. No matter how hard it is to be an Xbox gamer right now, with literally all the price increases across the board for that. But it's a good time. I recommend the demo on Steam. Let's get into one of my favorite casual watch movies, Mike, The Mummy. I love throwing on the original Mummy with Brendan Fraser all the time. It's like, what's that, like a comfort watch, like background noise kind of thing. One of my favorite lines from the movie I use all the time is whenever Benny says, looks like I got all the horses, and Brendan Fraser's character is like, looks like someone's on the wrong side of the river kind of thing. So absolutely love it. The rumor is Universal is interested in Brendan Fraser returning as Rick O'Connell in a Mummy 4, I guess it would be. And previous rumors, and the scriptwriter was actually lined up for a prequel to this, but all the new news leans into a sequel, and all the Mummy cast were at a Comic-Con earlier this summer as well. So, hype,
yeah,
Mike.
I mean, yeah, the Mummy movie soars on the charisma of Rick O'Connell. And I'm honestly surprised I never even kind of thought about this. Maybe other people didn't as well, because kind of when Brendan Fraser came out of retirement, his kind of like big celebratory kind of parade was about the movie like The Whale.
The Whale.
And he was playing like a gigantic man. And I think people thought like his kind of action hero days were over, and no one was even considering a return to the Mummy. And
he was also in a fat suit. He was in a fat suit for people who don't know. He was not that size in real life.
And also, he didn't really have fond memories, or at least when he did all of these kind of like articles and interviews over his like career, he always talked about just how ground into the ground he was, trying to stay fit for these roles and like getting injured doing the stunts.
The problem is he shouldn't have done Monkey Bone. Monkey Bone was really the downfall of Brendan Fraser, and we can all admit that on the podcast. But continue.
Oh, I'm thinking Bedazzled, the one with Elizabeth Hurley. Yeah, I don't think I've seen Monkey Bone.
Oh, yeah.
Check it out.
Yeah, that's Bridget Fonda is actually in Monkey Bone, for people who don't. And I think Chris Kattan. I can't think of a movie with Chris Kattan in it that made money at this point. But
it's funny. I was putting the thumbnail together for the episode today, and I was trying to think of some copy for it, and I was like, "Oh, The Mummy Returns," or Brendan Fraser Returns. Wait a minute, no, that was what the second movie was called. And then I was thinking, oh, I should do like a pun on like, there's a threequel coming, and I was like, oh wait, I forgot there was a third movie.
There was a third movie, yeah, yeah.
There's like a Chinese mummy or something like that. And I was like, oh boy.
Jet Li was in it, I believe, right, as like that mummy.
I earnestly tried to stream that, I think within like the last year or two, and it was not streaming anywhere the last I checked. So this could be one of those things where it's just like, oh, the first two, those get like premium billing. Those are the ones that everybody wants to license for streaming. And this third one, it's on like Pluto TV somewhere.
Well, and that will tell you, it even had the Scorpion King spinoff with The Rock that kind of got The Rock into action movies, because that spun off of the second one. And that had its own franchise with a bunch of straight to, I guess, VHS DVD movies at the time. So that's always fun. I always forget about that third movie, except for those damn abominable snowman scenes. It didn't even have Rachel Weisz didn't even come back for that one, right? Like she was like they had to recast her as another actress. So I only remember the first two, and that's because they're so fun. And we talked about this before on the show. It was like, what if they had continued like Creature from the Black Lagoon in this universe, or Dracula set in the Rick O'Connell universe would have been absolutely such a great time.
That would have been amazing. When I read that like post that was going around, I was like, this would have been perfect.
Yeah,
and it would have been fun to see like what would they have called it, because they have the name recognition of mummies. Would they call it like Mummy Dracula Returns, or like Mummy Night of the
Mummy? They probably would have done at the time the Mummy versus Dracula, and it would have been Brendan Fraser teaming up with the Mummy that he just beat to defeat Dracula because it's a bigger threat.
That would have been good.
Yeah. I also forgot Brendan Fraser did George of the Jungle of 1997 during the Tarzan phase of the 90s. And for a fun fact, I've got him pulled up here on Wikipedia. He's born in Indianapolis, Mike. A little Hoosier himself, like the rest of us. And for people who don't remember or didn't watch it, he was also a character on Doom Patrol, a DC live action show that was on the DC Universe network until it went to HBO Max, alongside Alan Tudyk, because he's in everything along the way. But for those who may or may not know, the Dark Universe at Universal have a new park, but they also have a new franchise because, what was it, the Invisible Man movie that took off a couple years ago? The werewolf? Wolfman?
They did a werewolf one, but I don't think it really made much of a splash, so I don't know if that's going to affect what they're going to do.
Well, it shouldn't yet. Blumhouse still owns it. They have Lee Cronin, who just wrapped up his Mummy earlier this year and will be out next year. So Blumhouse, they're an interesting company. They tend to do interesting things that are unpredictable. So maybe we'll see these either coalesce or not. But even if someone did a modern Mummy movie, not featuring Tom Cruise kissing a woman to death, because that movie was just awful. We even I think we watched it on the show back when it came out. But I think a modern Mummy movie does still leave room for Rick O'Connell to return in that, if they want to bring them back. But I think, Mike, we've missed the window of opportunity. As much fun as it sounds, I don't think we should go back 26 years to 1999's The Mummy and pick it up again because you even forgot the third movie existed while making the image. But maybe I'll turn that on tonight. Some background noise. That's a good vibe. Shifting gears over into animated land, the Simpsons have announced a second feature film is coming for them in 2027. It's called the poster we have here. It says Homer's coming back for seconds. It's him reaching for a donut. The first movie came out 20 years ago, and they always said they wouldn't do a movie for another 20 years, and I think they're about to hit that on the nose, whether that's intentional or not. I like the first Simpsons movie. When I think of the Simpsons, I think of like a couple original episodes, some Treehouse of Horrors, and the movie. What's your vibe on this, Mike? A show you haven't watched in decades, I'm sure.
Well, I'm one of those like diehard like OG Simpsons people. Kind of once you get into like season 8, you know, you're starting to kind of get some of those like, oh, this was an interesting choice for an episode. I know some people like kind of like round up to season 10 as like the golden age, but like I'm like hardcore like first 7 seasons like probably built at least like a quarter of my personality.
Yeah.
So when the movie came out, it was, God, what were they like in season 15 at the time, or maybe less? But it was definitely outside of when I kind of stopped watching it. So I've only really ever seen clips of the first movie. I've heard some people say like, oh, it's worth a watch, you know.
Yeah.
At least you have the advantage of when a movie's being made, kind of like everyone involved kind of like understands that it's supposed to be special. You know, they can think about it longer, develop the jokes and, you know, everything long. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like I could easily not watch this.
I really enjoy the first one. I dropped off in the 2000s for The Simpsons as well. The movie, it's got a higher production value. It does tell a special story. It's not like it's a longer episode. It actually feels, you know, kind of like timeless, like a movie should, right? Like you can watch it anytime, and it doesn't reference the show, what was going on. I'm trying to look it up because it was 2007, so the show had to have been 17 seasons at that point, maybe.
Yeah, I was trying to look it up now.
Yeah, that's what I'm kind of looking at here. It's got all the writers, it's got the town, the cast. It's on its 33rd plus season, whatever it is. Oops, I went too far back. Yeah, we're gonna look this up live on the show because
the episode guide button is impossible to find.
I'm on Wikipedia. So I actually season during 2007 was season 18. Was 2007.
Okay. Yep, you're right.
So 18, 19. So it was, you know, pushing 20. Came out 2007. The next one's 2027, which is 20 years later. Which there is a joke saying they wouldn't do another movie for another 20 years. So it's pretty interesting. They're on season 37, kicked off literally a week ago, September 28th.
I mean, what drives me absolutely crazy is like you mentioned the Treehouse of Horror episodes are, you know, some of the most standout episodes that they have. And I even picked up a Simpsons Halloween advent calendar from Costco that I'm on. I actually need to open up day 4. I haven't done that yet. So obviously huge Simpsons fan, but it drove me crazy that Fox could not find a way to air these Treehouse of Horror episodes in the month of October. Like they always get pushed to November due to like football, and it's just like I'm out of the Halloween season. Like I'm sure these episodes are great, but like I won't stand for this disrespect.
Yeah, it's not hard because it's not like Halloween changes its date every year, if you will.
Yeah, it's like you know when it's going to be. Like move it to like a different night of the week or something, like for that one episode.
Yeah, I get even like to have like a playlist countdown kind of thing. But either way, so you know we have you know another movie. I think if you haven't watched it, that's a good casual watch movie. For that, I think it tells a real fun story. But when it's coming out in 2027 was actually when Marvel had their other movie for the year other than Secret Wars. So now Marvel only has Avengers Secret Wars in 2027. So really leaning into the less is more mentality they've been preaching for the past several years here. Deadpool and Wolverine was the only other year we only had one movie. This is one full calendar year between Doomsday and Secret Wars. We'll obviously have some TV series and some other probably one-offs along the way, but that to me is surprising. But at the same time, that just puts that much more pressure on Secret Wars to kind of perform, if that makes sense, along the way. So, all in all, as they say in South Park, the Simpsons did it. So I guess we don't have anything to worry about because they're taking over 2027. But let's talk a little bit about Avengers Doomsday. And we talked about at the top of the show how the Russo brothers are rustling our jimmies, Mike. I'm reading right here in my notes. They shared a set photo just like they did back when they were working on Infinity War and Endgame of one of the Russo brothers. I think it's Joe or Anthony. I don't know which one. In the middle of a very staged scene, if you will. He's looking at like his laptop or a notepad or something. And everything's black and white. It's got the blue/green screen, some scaffolding that looks like a tilted thing. A lot of people are leaning into an AVX kind of scenario here. That everything's spelling AVX. Some people said it's Wolverine returning. Some people say there's a cloth on the left side that's Doom's cape if you enhance it. I don't know what to take out of this, Mike. What's your read?
This is our generation's version of like the inkblot test, right? Mm-hmm. I have seen like every single permutation of a letter in like every pixel of this photo. I've seen somebody spell out Wanda and earnestly think that's what it spells. And hey, maybe it does, but you're just like, oh, that's how you're going to make the D? I don't think you could make a D with those like things in the background of this photo. Mm-hmm. Avengers vs. X-Men seems to be the most clear, but also I kind of wonder if, they love doing this kind of stuff to us. So maybe there's like some sort of like, red herring in here. Everyone knew that they would see like kind of the triangle shape and go A, but maybe it's a misdirect. Maybe there's something else going on here. But I think the thing that's most interesting here, and nobody really seems to be talking about it, is when they did this before, it was because they were not revealing the name of the last Avengers movie, of Endgame. They were leaving it a secret, and then I think even, if I recall correctly, even the very first teaser trailer for Endgame wasn't called Endgame anywhere on the YouTube. They didn't even reveal it then.
Avengers, yeah.
So that was the whole secret. So, but we already know the titles. It's Doomsday and then Secret Wars. So unless they're stating that maybe the title will change, or if we think this is AVX, are they trying to hint at like, oh, the plot or like the synopsis of maybe what Secret Wars is going to be, or maybe what Doomsday is setting up? I don't know. I mean, AVX is probably one of the more recent iconic original kind of big summer storylines in the comic books. I mean, there've been other bigger ones recently, but they've been kind of like redos. They like redid Civil War, they redid Infinity, I think they even redid Secret Wars too. But AVX was kind of like their original, like a new original story, so it would kind of be ripe for the picking. But in my mind, I would think you save AVX, for I don't know, 10 more years, right, until you build all these characters up.
Well, I think also I don't think it's gonna change the title. I think we know the cast is built of half Avengers, half X-Men, so that's why people are leaning that way. Because what do we know? Half the cast is from the original X-Men, half the cast is from the Avengers, and that's what it is. And I agree with you. I think it is too on the nose. I've been looking into like what's actually behind on the right there, like that scaffolding, like that metal stuff. Like why is that there? Because obviously everything else can be green screened and not propped up, but like that is built. That is specifically there to be interacted with. So, I was trying to think like, some of the letters look like X's, some look like K's, some look like Wolverine slashes. None of this. If you squint hard enough, you can see anything you want out of this image, and that's like the worst part of it. Even the little dots in the background on the thing look like W and T. If you look at them, like if you connected the little pluses. So to me, there's nothing to read out of this that we won't find out until December of next year. Right? So like we are still a long way away. I don't think we'll get this, but other than that, I think it's in the metal framework / scaffolding on the right, because like why would you need that there? Who's interacting with it? And kind of where's it placed right along the way if they're filming. So I don't know if anyone else has any ideas to listen to, any rumors they want to toss our way, shoot them our way. We'll definitely share them. The other rumor this week is that a first teaser for Doomsday will be coming with Avatar Fire and Ash in December, and most likely be an in-theater only experience for a while. There will be bootlegs and stuff, but like the official one will be in theaters only, like Avatar and the Odyssey did earlier this year. Do you think they would do something a year early like that, or is that wishful thinking?
Could I get any more hyped for another Avatar movie?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're just they're begging me to go to the box office. December's a busy month for me. We're always traveling for the holidays, so I hope I can be there. On an opening night or opening in some way. But like that Avatar movie's going to be like 18 hours long, so I'm going to need like a whole freaking day to do that. Yeah. But that's fun. I love that exclusivity. I'd rather them do that than like hype it up, and then usually what happens, like the trailer comes out like Monday, before the movie comes along, and it's just like, oh, okay.
Well,
so
yeah, it's still the thunder from it. Yeah. Well, yeah, they've done that for like a couple movies. The Avatar ones lasted several weeks, and I think that's cool. Like, I still would want to go see Fire and Ash. So like I don't think it's going to help sell tickets. We're not watching the Phantom Menace trailer in 2000 or 1998, and then like leaving the theater as fast. So I think there's a lot of opportunity here. I'd love to see it, and hopefully this is true. If not, this is probably a teaser I would almost 100% put money on for Super Bowl 2026. Like I think that's it. Yeah. For awareness, right? I think to pass the Mike's mom test, it'll have to be early and fast, and they've got a whole year to push the movie. So we'll see about that.
They'll have to get that teaser up before the halftime show.
Yeah.
So it sounds like the halftime show is going to alienate a lot of people.
Yeah. Well, what year has it not done that? So,
if I could stand on a soapbox, Chris, for just 1 minute here, and just tell people it doesn't even matter who the Super Bowl halftime performer is. They are programming two separate events that happen to be airing at the same time on the same channel. Like, they are not worried about the football fans dipping because they are there to watch a football game. The halftime show is a whole nother program, right? They are getting extra people to watch a football game because of the halftime show. Why on earth would they ever program a halftime show to appease the football fans that are already there? That's all I'm saying. It makes more sense. It's almost like you're either doing like kind of like counter programming. Like imagine like, when they had like Shakira perform, it's just kind of like totally different audience. I know that there's crossover, but like that's the same thing is happening again here. Why are people freaking out? Settle down. Just eat your chili con carne dip. That's what we're all here for.
It's just something for them to bitch about until it happens, and then no one remembers. I can't tell you who was at what Super Bowl what year. Other than the Weeknd did the one for COVID because no one was around. That's the only time I remember it. So I think, get your panties in a wad now, and you'll forget about it literally the Monday afterwards, because something else will pop up. Moving on to another movie that needs a Super Bowl trailer. We'll have a Super Bowl trailer. I guarantee it's Spider-Man, Brand New Day, right? Next year, next July coming out. Currently the rumors are that Scoopers are doubling down on Daredevil making an appearance in this movie based on rumors previously to this week, several months ago, but also Charlie Cox canceling a Comic-Con appearance this month due to a new filming schedule he did not have. And then it's just doubled down more from there. Charlie Cox did appear in Spider-Man No Way Home as the lawyer for a young Tom Holland, Peter Parker, early on, and he wasn't seen ever again in that movie. But if we have the Punisher in this, I kind of would hope to see Daredevil a little bit, right? Like, kind of give him a little bit more. This is something the fans want, and Tom Holland says he's been online reading what fans want. I think this isn't a bad idea if it's street level. What do you think?
It'll appease the people that always say, like, oh, why aren't these other heroes showing up? It's it's Manhattan. It makes sense. Why wouldn't they be here? Mm-hmm. So maybe that'll quell some of that disdain. But also reading like the scoopers are doubling down. It makes me think like, oh, are they putting money? Like, are they bet $400 on Daredevil being in this movie?
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, I am, aren't you? I mean, minimum $400, maybe more.
Well, South Park did just teach me about these betting apps the other week. I mean, I knew they existed, but I didn't realize you could bet on just innocuous stuff. I thought it was all sports betting. So maybe I need to start betting on like superhero movie stuff. Yeah, no, I'm not because they will prove us wrong. They will literally go in there and prove us wrong just to make more money on the other side. Betting against you. But yeah, Spider-Man Brand New Day, very excited. We know that we've got a lot of rumors, we've got a lot of theories, so hopefully they can kick that off and maybe kick some ass down the road. On the flip side for the Daredevil show, though, highly Scooper saying, a rumor that Elektra from the Daredevil show will return to Daredevil. They don't know if it's season 2 or 3. Season 2 is wrap filming. 3 will be picking up soon. But it sounds like they are bringing back more Netflix legacy characters to the show along the way. This wouldn't be the Jennifer Garner Elektra, right? Yeah. This would be the Elodie Young from the Netflix. Yeah, Elodie Young from the Netflix show. So yeah, we've already had Jennifer Garner come back in Deadpool and Wolverine. She might even show up in the Avengers movie. Who knows? But yes, this would be Elodie Young returning as Elektra from the Daredevil show on Netflix, reprising her role. Fine with me. I mean, honestly, when I think about bringing Defenders back, she's like not on the high on the list because I kind of forgot she was there for 2 seasons. But I think this is fine. I could be wrong, but I thought she died. Did she not die? Or did they bring her back to life? Well, the hand like kept bringing people back to life. So I could look it up. I don't think she was dead. But honestly, it's been forever. She was in Daredevil and the Defenders. I'm looking it up real fast because I don't remember. I thought she was. I thought she might have died when the kind of that dragon cave crumbled in the Defenders. Mm-hmm. Because didn't they I thought they brought her back to life, and they always bring they always bring her back to life. They just, okay, here it is. So although Daredevil technically looked like he died in there, Elektra's body was never found, so she could come back. I mean, honestly, I don't think they're sticking too hard and fast to the Netflix rules for Defenders. I don't think anyone's going to go back and remember that Defenders episode where the dragon took over New York? That really didn't happen. I think it'll be fine. She was a great addition to the show, especially season 2, and being someone who fights similar to Daredevil, right, with her style. I think it's all right. If not, I'm not losing sleep over it. I'm not going to throw a fit at the end of it. This ends up just being a rumor, so good by me. Over in DC land, the rumors are Plastic Man. Yet again, Plastic Man is a project is in the works. It could be a movie. It could be a TV show. Nobody knows for sure. But they're leaning into Plastic Man being a body horror film in the similar vein as Clayface. I think that's rumor, but are you even familiar with Plastic Man? If I said they did a version of Plastic Man, if I remember right, in the Arrowverse, in the Flash specifically in the later, if I recall correctly. Or if he wasn't Plastic Man, maybe they called him something else. Or are there multiple stretchy folks in the DC universe? I don't know. But I would think you would go the comedic route, because isn't that character typically comedic? It seems like a great opportunity to hire whoever is the funniest actor at the moment, right? To give them a stage to stand on. But
Well, I think he's
It feels it would feel weird to just keep making body horror movies, you know.
yeah. I think one of the things about him is maybe he's not. He's like I don't know if he's funny like a comedian, but he's like a zany kind of character. Like gets himself in interesting things. There is he is a plastic body, so he can technically have some body horror. He is also what's the word, like a womanizer, like he like will morph himself into like women's clothing or suits to kind of be a rude boy, if you will, in terms of that. But like, he's kind of all over the place. Like most people are like, oh, he's Mr. Fantastic. He may look like Mr. Fantastic, he may stretch like Mr. Fantastic, but definitely a little more zany, if you will. And he's always been played like a not an antagonist, not a protagonist, but like what's that person like a Venom down the middle, like someone who's like
anti-hero.
Yeah, more like an anti-hero. So yeah, I don't know. I'd be interested to kind of see if they do something with him, but like the problem with this rumor is that Plastic Man fits right in James Gunn's fucking humor scope. Like if I was to pick a character that I'm like, yeah, James Gunn would pick him because he aligns with him in terms of like what he wants to do, this would be the character that does it, if that makes sense. So hopefully it's not body horror, but they might melt a plastic man at some point in the show throughout. Do you remember they announced a Swamp Thing movie when they announced the DC universe?
Gosh, I still can't. I feel like I still can't get over the news of people trying to get Swamp Thing renewed.
Yeah.
When it had that first season
on the DC universe, and then what was it, CW, I think as well. James Mangold, who was signed or announced as a director of Swamp Thing, has signed an overall deal with the new Paramount Pictures after the most recent merger, and he will develop, direct, and produce feature films projects for the studio. What does that even mean at the end of the day, Mike? I don't know. But despite this deal, James Mangold currently remains attached and available to develop all his other projects. Other than Swamp Thing, do you remember what else he's attached to that we would talk about?
He is attached to that prequel Star Wars movie, right?
Yeah, like the First Jedi or something like that is what it was called, or something like that. Yeah, so he is currently in limbo in Star Wars land. He's currently in limbo in DC land. But over at Paramount Pictures, he's going to be doing some other stuff. I was trying to think. Well, the last James Mangold movie I remember watching was Indiana Jones, the newest one that he did, and I was trying to see what else he's done recently. A Complete Unknown, which was last year's Timothée Chalamet picture about Bob Dylan, and currently he has nothing in the hopper, except for those other movies we've talked about. Do you think when a person like this, James Mangold, who is a name, who signs to a studio? Who did this? The other J.J. Abrams did one with Warner Brothers that never came to fruition, as well. Like, why do you think studios do that? I guess because like that's a big risk to not really do anything, and I've never seen one of these really come to fruition. What do you think?
I think they just love throwing money around and just holding their position and waiting to see what happens. There's like, I would love to know how much percentage of a studio's budget is allotted for just stuff that they'll never make, but they just don't want anyone else to hold on to, whether it's like talent or specific projects. Because that's got to be like so frustrating to just be like wrapped up in a whole studio. It's interesting to see like kind of like Paramount seems to be invigorated, because I thought Skydance bought Paramount, so I thought they were gonna like merge into like one company, but I guess maybe they're keeping the Paramount name. I don't know. I'm confused. I don't know what's happening, but it seems like Paramount's making moves. Didn't they also hold the Transformers rights as well?
Hasbro has that. I don't know.
So I don't know if they're holding on to.
It's
it's
been distributed by Paramount, but it has been produced elsewhere. If that makes sense.
We'll see what Paramount does.
Yeah.
I saw slight entertainment related news. I saw that what was it, Lionsgate? They had that partnership with one of those AI companies last year, where they were going to use all of like Lionsgate's library to like build like an independent LLM that they would control all of the data and the information copyright for. There was like an update like in the last week or so where they're just like, oh yeah, we can't get it to make anything good, which is kind of crazy that a whole catalog of a studio is not enough information to get it generating anything good. Like the only way to get AI to make something that's useful is it just has to use the entirety of the knowledge of the internet to like generate something that you'd want to look at.
But it's not generating anything new. It's just generating things that already exist out of there, which I think is the fatal flaw in assuming it's making something new. But it's like, it's like it all goes back to that episode of South Park yet again, where Cartman's in the Osimo box and he's just making Adam Sandler movies because that's all he can think of. And that's it's probably all it's been out with. And I looked it up. Paramount Skydance is the name of the company, and it just says Paramount Pictures, and then underneath it, a Skydance Corporation is what it's called. They didn't really change anything.
Well, I guess it's probably the NBC Universal Comcast DreamWorks kind of merger where nothing's getting renamed. We're not calling anything new.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. But yeah, so I think, to me, out of the Gods and Monsters, we've only had like 2, maybe 3 projects come to fruition. I think, it was more of a wish list than an actual game plan. So we'll see if any of these come to fruition. With the Swamp Thing still weird. It's such a interesting project that's been tried multiple times. Even Marvel's Man Thing from the 2005 Sci-Fi Channel movie is awful. Other than this one guy who yells Rodney every time he's looking for his friend Rodney. You could just find a whole clip of online him just yelling Rodney online. It's pretty funny. Back to Pandora. We're going to talk Avatar for a minute here. James Cameron has been on the record this week to say that a 4th and 5th movie are not guaranteed in the Avatar franchise yet. I think there's like a contract renewal in there, so he's probably playing coy until the 3rd one comes out. But if he does, he already has a plan for it. They will be essentially one story together. 4 and 5 is like one story, kind of like how 2 and 3, The Way of Water and Fire and Ash, are one bigger story. I don't bet against James Cameron, Mike, right? Like we've talked about this. Like he is continually surprises us with sequels. You're familiar with his story on how he got Aliens, right? Which will tie into our next review of Alien Earth. You remember how he got Aliens from the company?
Did he take like a big pay cut or something to do it?
No, quite the opposite. He went in to the studio, wrote Aliens, and then put a dollar sign on the S to show them that they would make money out of Aliens. Yeah, so I think we don't bet against James. I think if he wanted to even be like, to hell with you, Disney, I'm gonna make my own Avatar movies, and like did them on his own at his own volition, he could easily make 4 and 5 and still be a billionaire or millionaire, whatever he is when he's done with this, right? Like I feel he would, but I've never seen someone do 5 movies like this.
I mean, it's interesting from a narrative point of view because, I mean, Way of Water, the second one, is kind of a standalone movie. Like, I mean, we only have 2 data points to go on, 2 films, but they each kind of come from the point of view of just like, oh, the same humans keep showing up, but just kind of with like different kind of motivations, right? Yeah, the Way of Water like kind of had like a cliffhanger, but like if that was the last movie, like,
well, I would even say
kind of have a way.
I think that the thing is here is the time passing, right? Like Avatar 1 to 2, they have a family, right? There's a bunch of Na'vi, and then when they get to 4, I think 3 and 4 or 2 and 3, Way of Water, Fire and Ash. Like Fire and Ash is probably going to take place probably immediately after, right? Like it ends on a cliffhanger, but like we're still going to pick up kind of where those events kind of take us. I think 4 and 5 would do the same thing. Another time pass, then tell those two stories kind of back to back, if that makes sense. I think he's looking at it in terms of time passing, because like I like that they're actually moving the years along. Like that's one of my favorite things about Way of Water. It's not like, oh, this is like next year. Like, no, they had like several kids. You know, they had to go to Earth. The Earth had to come back. That takes several years. It's not like a day trip. So I've actually really enjoyed that. But
well, I mean, besides Spider, he's pretty much the only human character that is signifying age on the screen.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they brought in a couple different ones for each movie, but they usually just end up getting dispatched by some sort of creature on the planet. They
haven't killed the general lady yet, who was who brought back the main villain from the first one in his avatar body, who's making all the, I guess, human cities, I guess. But yeah, I'm interested to see, like, again, we're Way of Water fans. I think Fire and Ash will be a good time. So hopefully you do get to see it. If not, I know where there's an IMAX at where you're going to be over Christmas. I know exactly where one's at. We can go watch it. I will pick you up. I'll drive you. I think your child can handle a 4-hour movie in the theater, for sure. So, but yeah, Avatar, no 4 and 5 confirmed, but I have high hopes that after 3 goes through and makes a bunch of money, they'll be fine. And they're like, yeah, we'll make more. We're at the end of the show. Not a lot of news this week, but we want to talk about a series that wrapped up last week, Alien Earth, series on FX by Hulu, whatever it's called, by Noah Hawley, who has worked on Fargo and Legion, and has brought a new, I guess, chapter into the Alien universe by bringing everything to Earth, I guess pre or post the first Alien movie, but before the second one. So it's hard to tell the timelines, but
I thought it was supposed to be, I could be wrong. I think I read this when the first 2 episodes were premiering, but I think this is supposed to be just a couple years before the event of the first movie, which kind of might make sense, because if I recall correctly, in the first movie, they already, Weyland Yutani Corporation already knows about the xenomorph's existence. Like, they already know it's a thing. Well, it's not like a mysterious alien to them. It's like a known quantity. So this would kind of possibly explain how the company already knows about it.
They do, and you're right, because I was thinking of it's Romulus is between Alien and Alien 2. Alien Earth is 2 years before Alien, but it's after Prometheus and Covenant. So these horrible names that are hard to remember when we talk about them. But yes, this is pre Sigourney Weaver's movie, but after Michael Fassbender's movies by several years, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. So, so Alien Earth had 8 episodes, did weekly releases on FX. I've been tuned in from day one, but I was not able to catch the last 3 until the past few days. Mike, did you binge watch all these? Or how did you watch it?
I watched them week by week, like a good little boy. Tuesday nights were my appointment television, and I was so excited every time I was ready to watch Alien. I was so hyped. I can't really explain my infatuation with the franchise, but I think it's kind of similar in a way of, like, when I think about Star Wars, I think about it like wrapped up in like one object. Like, it's the lightsaber. It's like the thing that makes Star Wars like unique and different. Obviously, you can tell really interesting stories outside of a lightsaber. I mean, look at Andor, amazing TV show. But like the lightsaber is like this perfect embodiment of like kind of how it's like fantasy space. To me, like Alien is perfectly personified like by the alien. Like the xenomorph is just such a cool, iconic design. Like you see it and you know primally inside of you need to be scared of it. You know, you don't need to be told anything about it. It doesn't need a backstory, and it's just there to kill people. And I loved every week when I even just got a hint of it.
Yeah, and to me, what has been great and the hype about the show is it's not just about the xenomorph anymore. They were like, you know, obviously the xenomorph is scary. All the movies have been based on the xenomorph, but if anything, you know, we've seen the engineers as aliens and Prometheus and Alien Covenant. There had to be more dangerous specimens out in the world or out in the universe. And Alien Earth has essentially treated us to, hey, here are there are xenomorphs, yes, but there are other deadly specimens that need to be studied and brought that kind of add a little bit of I'd say energy and like a little bit of surprise and suspense to the show, other than just relying on a singular alien, if you will.
Yeah, and if it's not clear, we're about to jump into talking about specifics of this. So if you haven't watched Alien Earth yet, I would pause this little TV, not TV show. Well, maybe this is a TV show. If you're watching it on YouTube, this could be a TV show. Give us a pause and go watch Alien Earth, because I would love to talk about spoilers, because if we're going to talk about like specific aliens in general, I remember the last time we checked in on this show, Chris, you were bummed that they kept teasing us with these other aliens and we didn't get more of them. Are you now a little bit more satisfied towards the back half of the show? Do you feel like there's more exploration with these other aliens that you would still like to see? How were you left whelmed?
So to me, I kind of can't tell some of them apart in terms of like there's a fly species and a tick species, and I kept being like, are they the same thing? Or not. I don't remember. Some of them were just a little too similar, but like they, other than the eyeball creature, they were kind of episodic in nature, like used for a moment, used to show us how they kill, and then kind of forgotten about, if that makes sense, along the way. So I am disappointed that we didn't get more journeys with them, but obviously I will say the highlight, the focus of the show necessarily wasn't on the aliens. It was on the new synthezoid hybrids, which are human consciousness transferred into synth bodies. And those were really, I think, where a lot of the time and energy went into, rather than the creature of the week or creature feature, if you will, for the show.
Yeah. I mean, outside of just the franchise of Alien, this is just really, really good science fiction storytelling. They do exactly what you're supposed to do with science fiction, which is kind of tell an equivalent of what's happening in the modern day, but wrap it in something, interesting and eye-catching, like the future or science fiction, right? Some might look at our world and think we're barreling towards a future where just 5 mega corporations control everything, right? We're looking down the barrel of AI, and they are literally making artificial intelligence, or putting intelligence into the artificial, and it was fascinating. You're totally right. It carries the show. Like, this first season is about what is it to be human? Can you transfer your consciousness? And then also, we're lucky that you've transferred your consciousness into something that won't get attacked and mauled by an alien, which was really, really smart. I don't know, technically if some of this stuff lines up perfectly, because I swear I remember like a xenomorph, attacking a full synth before and like mutilating it. But maybe I'm wrong. Yeah. But if they had to kind of rewrite the narrative a little bit, they did it really, really slick. I think it was in maybe the second episode, where they kind of say something along the lines of like, oh, it can like sense fear. So like, yeah, like a robot, doesn't have a reason to fear it. Or you could even like put your own headcanon in it. It's just like, well, this is a beast that wants to hunt. Like, what a bear doesn't have an issue with a vacuum cleaner, right? So I think that just worked really well, of like, oh, you can create a character that can exist in the same space as a xenomorph, which was really cool to kind of see the character of Wendy be in the same room as the xenomorph. That's like a type of scene that we've really only ever been teased with. I think it was Alien 3, when Sigourney Weaver is on like the jail cell planet, and there's like this connection between the xenomorph and her, to where she gets like spared. So there's a lot of fun exploration here, what you can do with the xenomorph.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah, a little bit. Overall, I'm going to tell you, I really enjoyed the first half of this show, but I feel like I'm missing an episode. There's something wrong between episodes 5 and 6 that I can't draw a line between them, and I think there's more of this show on a cutting room floor that we didn't get to see, like a 10 episode order of this, because it gets to the end so fast, and I'm like, they're just doing this stuff. I think the ending for me really, to be honest, Mike, I'm gonna say didn't stick the landing for the show. But I think it just moves too fast for me, because like we're going from like, okay, what's it like to be human? You know, the implications of these, you know, kids literally in bodies. If I have to hear them say, "I'm not supposed to tell," one more time, I was gonna flip a goddamn table over, Mike. I think I told you that already. But I think there's a lot to be desired, because I want to see the Lost Boys, if you will, right? The Wendy and the Lost Boys. The kids, what were they like before they were put in their synth bodies? Because that would determine their personalities, rather than them just saying, we're kids in adult bodies the whole time, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I wouldn't argue with you with the rush pace of the ending. I thought it was kind of strange that they would go out of our way to tell the audience so many times this season that Prodigy has these aliens, these specimens, this property. They're not giving it up, and Weyland-Yutani doesn't have the authority to go get it. Like, they made it like very political. They set the stakes that there would be these big ramifications if somebody overstepped, but then just out of nowhere, they were just kind of like, oh no, we're going to send in like this shock troop team. Mm-hmm. You know, they're going to come in like the Navy SEALs commercial out of the water, and they're just going to go in there and take what they want. And it just kind of felt like, well, okay, I could see at a point like getting frustrated and sending them in, but like I thought maybe that there was going to be something a little bit more to it. Like there was maybe something physical keeping these soldiers from arriving at the island. And that's what I thought, maybe that like two-way connection between that kid and the cyborg was going to be. Yeah. Like he kept trying to contrive this crazy scenario in which he would convince a child to sneak an alien off the island, which seems pretty far-fetched. I suppose if it's your only option, you know, give it a shot. But I thought it would have made more sense if there was some sort of like, maybe not force field, but maybe there was like some sort of like buoys out in the water, or there were minefields, or like something that would physically keep troops from coming in, and then you could get him to go deactivate it. It seems maybe a little bit more streamlined to get that to happen. You know?
Me, it was maybe more of a hidden island than anything else. Like we didn't know where it was, and maybe he could have found out where it was, and that would have been the easier way to do it. Mm-hmm. Because it seemed like it was hidden, but it really wasn't. It kind of felt, once they got out of the thing, it felt a lot like the Jurassic Park island, where they're all just trying to get to the docks, but nobody knows where the docks are. You just have to keep walking.
And also when I can't forget he was an amazing actor, the guy who played the cyborg for Weyland-Yutani. I liked that guy's performance. He did a great job.
Morrow is the name of the bot. I think his name's like David Babu Sise. Babu Sise. But Morrow is the name of the character. Yeah.
But speaking of rushed, it was really odd when he just all of a sudden like walked into the Prodigy research facility. I was just like, oh, dude, you're just walking in the front door. Like you're like in the lobby. Like we've kind of shown that like this is a very high trafficked area. Like, do you not have any sort of advanced plan? And then he just immediately gets captured. I was like, oh, I thought you were smarter than this. Yeah. And then, you know, he eventually kind of like finds a way to escape, but this wasn't his plan. So I think that does kind of factor into the rush part of just like, dude, I thought you were the one with like the master secret plan.
Well, I wouldn't say he's a master plan. He was very focused. I think, to me, my favorite characters are, again, Morrow and Kirsch, the synth played by
Timothy
Timothy Elephant. Like those two together, like were my favorite characters out of this whole show, hands down. Like you know, one's a cyborg, one's a synth. They have like they're out for each other. Like Kirsch is playing along, and he knows about the conversations. He's helping them get the alien off. Like his curiosity is pushing this along, and I loved that duplicity of him. Like he's like doing things for Boy Cavalier, who plays a very easy to hate character. He did a really good job with that.
Yeah, that is kind of a little bit of a frustrating thing of like, I was almost for certain that this dude was going to get his head chomped off.
I was hoping the eyeball would make poetic justice, that he's like, I'm going to give you to somebody weak, and then it ends up taking him over. instead.
Yeah.
But the eyeball and the other creatures are like just as good of characters as Morrow and Kirsch to me. I love watching the eyeball take over the sheep and like actually planned out to kill the bot. And a surprise move, Mike. Most shows would be like, well, he was just stupid and went in there, but they watched the cameras and like, no, the eyeball actually killed the one kid, locked him in with the fly. They were like, no, this thing is too smart. And he did it on purpose. Most shows would be like, well, he's a young kid and he's stupid and shouldn't have been in there. But they actually went through and told us what happened. And I'm like, that's different. Like, that's not predictable. Like a normal show would do. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. I hate that Wendy would talk to the alien. Not the fact that she can talk to the alien, but how they portrayed it happening. Looked really weird, and it was obviously ADR'd and felt really fake. I didn't like it, and it's more about the production of it rather than the results of it, I guess.
Yeah, I suppose I didn't have as big of an issue with it, but I think it could have been equally as impactful if there was no sound, like if it was almost like telepathic in a way. But then you're kind of like leaning into like almost like mysticism territory, so maybe they wanted to avoid that. I mean, speaking of that connection, in my mind, I'm imagining like a 3, 4, 5 season arc where like Wendy becomes basically the villain, right? You know, you can already kind of see it happening. She's becoming detached from her humanity. She's almost kind of like the Sentry in that third act of Thunderbolts, where it's just like, well, I'm all powerful. Why would I even care about your feelings or what it is, you know, to be human in a way? Why would a god even worry about your problems? So I'm almost kind of imagining this really badass. I mean, Noah Hawley loves this like intense, like rock, like metal, like new metal music that he puts at the end of every episode. Like I'm imagining like a heavy metal cover. By the end of this series, where it's like Wendy, she's just like drenched in some sort of like just like super gothic apparel. She's got like a giant fully like grown like xenomorph at the side of her throne, and she's got like these generals around her. It's gonna be like, that's what I'm imagining. It's gonna be like sick. It's gonna be brutal. It's gonna be crazy.
I don't think they'll get her that far because she's a child. She doesn't understand what she's doing right in there, and I don't think they'll get her that grown up. But to me, it's gonna be like something's gonna have to take her out, and to me, it's her brother is gonna be the one who has to end her, because like you can kind of tell at the end, like, you know, he's like, this isn't right. Like, you know, nobody's winning in this situation. He's only choosing the lesser evil along the way. As much as I liked every song that they chose for these episodes, it was real fucking James Gunn energy to be doing that at the end of every episode. Because I want to know the point. Like, what's the point? I get it. It's fun to put your favorite songs at the end. But, like, these are, like, 90s or, like, early 2000s, like, rock songs, right? And this is supposed to take place, you know, 2099 or something, or, like, down the road, 2190. So, like, I was trying to figure out, like, what's the theme with these songs? What's the big reveal of the music that we're going to get? Like, what is it? Like, is there somebody else, you know, pulling the strings, and that's the music is like everything we're seeing from their point of view a little bit? Because I did call the old guy was a synth very early on. I'm like, that old guy is very well put together to be a person and being told what to do. So I did call him early on. You know, the kids, I don't give two shits about these kids in these bodies, because we don't know who they are or what they mean. I couldn't tell you their fake code names, Mike, because that's how little time we spend with them. And I wish we had more about who they were as children so we could understand who they were as adults. I don't know if we talked about it on the show, but there's that one bottle episode in the middle which shows us the original ship who got all the samples, or I guess aliens brought back. I want to see more about how they captured those. I think that would be really fun, and kind of what planets did they thrive on. I think there might be a good chance I would watch a second season, but like the back half of this really felt not cohesive, and I don't know if it was a rush production issue or if they were trying to pull it together, but like something about it wasn't coalescing for me. And maybe it's because like it's tight. Like, did you remember her brother had like a team, like a squad with him when they captured him until the end episodes? I was like, oh,
Oh yeah, until they showed up on the boat. Yeah.
Yeah, they were like, oh yeah, they're here. I'm like, oh yeah. Didn't that one get shot or something? And then like one of the bots got shot in the next episode. She wasn't shot, like the redheaded girl. I'm like, there's something missing.
Maybe,
and I don't know what it is.
Maybe the 10 episode theory is holding strong. Then I feel like something was kind of condensed here to get it out the door quicker. But at least we have the advantage of it seems like we can agree that we liked this first season, and when the second season gets started, it'll be picking up, I would imagine, from a cliffhanger. We were very much left on a cliffhanger in a way. And the synths, or whatever we're calling the humans transferred into robot bodies, I guess hybrids. Technically they're synths.
They're hybrids.
They're hybrids.
Yeah.
But really, in the sense of the word hybrid, a cyborg fits that definition better, because that's literally hybridization of like man and machine. But now everything's unshackled. Like these kids, they don't have to act like kids anymore if they don't want to. Nobody has control over them. They seem to be detaching themselves from humanity.
They're gonna act like kids because they don't know any better. I think is the thing. We're gonna see them make those. It was like the last episode where the scientist guy, before the chest burster came out, he's like, I can tell you're lying because you don't know how to lie because you're kids.
Yeah.
So just tell me what it is. I think to me it's I want to know about the other organizations, like the other corporations on Earth. Right? There's 5. We've seen Weyland-Yutani. We've seen the Boy Cavalier. Who are the other 3, and will they get involved in this? Does this affect their money?
And what is the... I'm sure there's deep lore in like a novelization that maybe explains it, but it sounds like Noah Hawley doesn't care too much about sticking to that, which I'm okay with. But I always thought it was Weyland-Yutani that ends up like on top. I thought they were like the corporation. So do they kind of find a way to overtake all of these other corporations on the planet, or do they kind of become like the de facto number one?
I don't think that's ever stated. I think they're just the ones that we were dealing with as a mining corporation. Because the Boy Cavalier, they say he's the newest organization. The people in space, because they take 80, like this ship who crashed was gone for 86 years. They didn't even know about Boy Cavalier appearing and creating. So like I still think maybe Weyland-Yutani may have been one of the first ones who sent everybody out, but like since then the world has changed and they just don't know until they show back up along the way. So I would love to learn more, but I think the other corporations need to show up, because I think, to me, it's not necessarily political thriller. It's not political. It's like corporate, like espionage, corporate sabotage, like or like even like, oh, we have to all combine together to take down what the Boy Cavalier really fucked up for all of us. So I think there's a lot of opportunity, and maybe you agree, like there's a lot of opportunity where the next season can go, and we're not stuck with just an alien loose on Earth at the end of the day, because that was my fear, that they're like, oh, the xenomorphs are out and the Earth's screwed over. Well, they've surprised us, and the xenomorphs, both of them, a big and a little one, are not under her control, but with her, like, because she can talk to them, I guess, and they see her maybe as like the queen in this moment. So I don't know. We'll see. They haven't announced the season 2 yet, but I know it's fresh for that. Anything else you want to add for the show before we wrap it up?
I'm excited to see what they do with it. If she kind of has this ability to talk to them, you kind of don't have to worry about a xenomorph being like a rogue agent. You can kind of go anywhere now because it's not going to be like loose. So they could easily sneak these xenomorphs into like a city, you know.
Or like she's a robot, if like they find a way to weaken her vocal cords or like ruin her like robotics, that would make them unstable and actual threats again for everybody.
That's true. Or maybe she gets into experimentation and she's just like, well, I don't want this xenomorph anymore, or I want other ones. I'm gonna like slap a face hugger like onto like a panda bear or something. We're gonna make a weird panda bear hybrid. Yeah,
I don't think she'll get that far. She was very like humanizing of them. She's like, no, they're poor creatures. So we'll see if they get that far. But I think if she loses control, that's where the next step is. What does she do when they don't recognize her? Right, because they're just killing creatures. All right, Mike, if people want to know what you're up to, what you're doing, where can they find you at, buddy?
Yeah, they can read my webcomics at pickledcomics.com, liferewardsrisk.com. Chris, people want to catch up with you. Where can they find you?
You can find me on Instagram, Falldan87, or video game systems of the same name. People want to know more about the show, what